Hey guys, real quick before the video starts, I would just like to warn you that there is strong language and graphic imagery used. If that isn't your thing, go ahead and click over maybe to one of my other videos if you would. And one more thing, I'd just like to thank you for clicking on this video, whether you be a friend or you just happen to stumble upon this channel. Thank you, and I hope you enjoy. Daddy, I think there's a man in the house. Nothing can chill your bones like the terrified voice of an 8-year-old girl uttering that phrase in the middle of the night. The raw fear in her voice was real and it was contagious. I stepped back, then leaned into the frame of her darkened room. "What makes you think that?" I whispered. Her breaths came in short gasps. "I heard footsteps downstairs in the kitchen after you and Mommy went to bed. I'm pretty sure I saw flashlight beams come through the hallway." I brought my panic down. "That was me," I breathed, facing the direction that her voice came out of the dark. I woke up to use the bathroom, noticed the light switch didn't work and had to find the circuit breaker downstairs with a flashlight. "I didn't mean to scare you." When she spoke again, her voice had lost the raw edge of terror, but childhood fear can't be erased so easily. And that evolutionary adaptation is the only reason we're here. "Daddy, how are you so brave in the dark?" Shit. Kids ask the hardest fucking questions. I took a deep breath and tried to draw on my best paternal instincts. "You want to know a secret?" I asked tentatively. "Yes, please," she asked in the saddest, sweetest voice. "Okay, I'll tell you. But you have to promise to go to sleep right afterward. Deal?" She sighed audibly. "Yes, I promise." I cleared my throat. "Good. Well then, here it is. Grown-ups aren't brave in the dark. We're all scared just like everyone else. But we learn how to act like we're not afraid. So what's imaginary for one person becomes real for another. Dads can be brave for their little girls because they believe it to be true, and sometimes that's enough." Silence. "Good night," I whispered, walking out the door. I headed down the hallway, heart still beating from her first words. Even when the supposed danger has passed, nothing can scare us like the memory of frightened children. Evolutionary traits, I suppose. I opened the master bedroom door and shut it quietly behind me. I checked my watch. I'd been gone 19 minutes and 13 seconds, but the scene hadn't changed. The expressions on the faces of the bound and gagged couple on the floor reflected the exact same terror that I heard in their daughter's voice. "Your kid is observant," I noted with a hint of admiration. They both moaned through the gags, bucking fruitlessly against the thick ropes. "Don't worry, she's asleep. I'll deal with her after I'm done with you. And my search of your kitchen was a success," I called out triumphantly. They froze upon seeing what was in my hand. Why so glum? I asked sadly. We're just getting started. They fought hard, but unsuccessfully as I sat down on the man's chest and lifted his t-shirt. Look, pal, I'll be honest, you're in for a very long night. But it will be slightly less painful if you just cooperate. Now, hold still. His wife moaned in the purest agony I've ever heard as I used their electric carving knife to slice a wide, half-inch thick fillet of skin from his sternum to his navel. The sweet, juicy sound of tearing flesh was so intoxicating that the world spiraled away in a sensual feast of human agony. The sound of a pumping shotgun brought me crashing back. I slowly turned around and nearly laughed at what I saw. You should put that gun down, little girl, I whispered, raising the knife. Someone could get hurt. You're half right, she snapped back. Then she pulled the trigger. The human body is capable of experiencing more pain than most people have any concept of categorizing. As the woman pressed a hot iron down on my stump, the entire world faded into hurt and white. Shut the fuck up, she hissed. My husband is in surgery while I'm down here with you in my basement. Do you have any idea how stressful that is? She bent down to examine my cauterized arm. You won't bleed out from this, she smiled unhappily. You'll be down here a long, long time, friend. I tried to move, but the chains were wrapped several times around each limb. I wasn't going anywhere. The little girl stepped behind her mother and embraced her in a hug. I did good, Mommy. The woman ran her fingers through her daughter's frizzy hair. You did very good, sweetie, she answered. Now, this man needs to be punished, so we're going to have him write a confession about how sorry he is. And we're going to share that with everyone. She glared at me. Understood. I struggled to breathe. All right, whatever you want. Whatever you want, even if I have just one good hand. The little girl clapped with glee. Then what happens, Mommy? She looked down at the tools on her table. An egg beater, several rusty thumbtacks, pliers, dental floss, anal lube, and tiny, tiny scissors. She nodded. What happens then, sweetie, is that our new friend stays with us for a very, very long time. She picked up the egg beater. You'd better pray that my husband survives surgery.